I hate to be that guy, but the revival of Modern Warfare 2019 is never going to last for more than a week or two due to 4 huge problems which seem to be getting overlooked by everyone. Somehow? If you're not aware, there is currently a 90% discount on Modern Warfare 2019 in the Steam Spring sale, which has led to a huge influx of players and content being made for this game again. But I want to try and bring some reality back into the scene, rather than this sensationalism that is, to be honest, being blown out of proportion just a little bit, as the issues I'm about to cover seem to be getting completely overlooked. Now, I want to preface what I'm about to say with I'm one of those people who thinks this game is great. Sure, maybe it's rose-tinted glasses mixed with heavy nostalgia from literally everyone playing this game during lockdown, but I've been playing daily for the last couple of months now to unlock Damascus Camo for the first time ever, and honestly, this is some of the most fun I've had playing Call of Duty in a long time. So why do I think the game is doomed to fail? Well, I want to explain how if Activision actually wanted this game to be relevant again, they would have fixed or at least communicated any level of intention to fix the 4 major issues with this game, which are ultimately so problematic they'll drive the new and returning players away as fast as they arrived. In fact, I'm almost certain that the revival of this game has already peaked during the weekend just gone and is now going to fade off for another couple of weeks before returning to obscurity not long after that. But what are these 4 major problems? Well, the first of these is the amount of people who actually just cannot play the game due to huge amounts of instability. Just last weekend, I hosted a community day on Modern Warfare 2019 where everyone got to play, we just had a good time. However, in every single match, I'm pretty sure there was at least one person who crashed or got disconnected or couldn't even make it into the lobby, which is pretty insane. Like, sure, people are going to crash sometimes whilst playing games, but every single game, people were crashing, and it was far too much to make it enjoyable for those people, which obviously sucked, but I'm sure they're not alone in that experience. Before we even got into matches as well, in the actual pre-game lobby party stuff, people were just being disconnected all over the shop, so you had to just really quickly set up a game and get straight in before people broke. So you can't even actually play with your friends without being stressed about getting into a game quick enough. I did hear that this is apparently just a bug with people on PC hosting lobbies, but I mean, either way, that's still ridiculous. And some people can't even load the game whatsoever. If they click play on Steam, nothing happens. If they load the game and it starts doing the shaders, as soon as the shaders complete, the game just crashes every single time. So yeah, the instability of the game is insane and is a massive barrier to a lot of people actually being able to play this game full stop. But for those of you who are lucky enough to actually be able to play the game, one of the second major things is the amount of bugs in this game. Now, the main one I want to talk about is the lack of hardcore. You can technically queue up for a hardcore game. However, there is a major bug in the game right now where the game cannot matchmake you with teammates. This means that if you queue on your own, you physically can't get into a game because there will be no one on your team and the lobby will be imbalanced and you just won't be able to play. So this means that you've got to queue up with at least 2 friends and hope that you find enemies doing exactly the same thing, queuing up as a party of 3 or 4. They've basically got to be plus or minus 1 with a minimum party size of 3. And you know what? It's incredibly unlikely you will find an enemy party doing exactly the same thing because people pretty much know hardcore is bugged. The game obviously doesn't have a huge player count, so not many people are searching for hardcore full stop. So while it is technically possible to play hardcore in this game, it basically isn't. Why does hardcore matter? I mean, for me personally, I don't really care. I don't enjoy hardcore. I know a lot of people do though, and a lot of people love to use it for the camo grind, especially long shots. And I can guarantee that a lot of people who maybe have rebought this game or have loaded it up again from not playing it for 7 years have thought, maybe I'll also finish Damascus Camo like I'm doing. Or maybe I'll just get a couple of golds here and there or some platinums, and then they try and get into hardcore because they don't want to play core for the long shots, and they're just like, okay, well, no, I'm not doing this. I do not want to get 100 long shots on every single assault rifle in the game in core, which is completely fair enough. It has been quite miserable, I'll give you that. But the reason why this lack of hardcore affecting people doing the camo grind matters is because once people have had their nostalgia hit, they've played a few matches, and they've kind of, got that hit that they wanted from the game, they'll be like, okay, well, what's next? Why do I want to carry on playing this game? Normally, with Call of Duty, that's the camo grind. That's what keeps a lot of people playing. That's what keeps the player retention going. Without that, like I said, this game is just gonna fall off a cliff because people are like, well, I've had fun. I've had my time. We've played some games. I've had a good time playing it as well. But that's all I need for now. I'm going to go back to whatever I was playing before. I guess there is the obsidian grind, to be fair, so maybe some of these people will not bother with Damascus or getting many golds, but instead they're just going to use their favorite gun, like the M4, the MP5, all the good stuff, and get obsidian on it, which, will help with that player retention a bit, but again, ultimately, probably won't last for too long. And that's because of the next major issue, cheaters. While there aren't as many cheaters as some people say there are in this game, especially with this new influx of players reducing the chance of you coming across a cheater, there are definitely cheaters in this game. They do exist. I come across them almost every single day, multiple times a day on the camo grind I've been doing. And the problem with the cheaters, other than them cheating obviously, is the fact they go completely untouched in this game. I guess the developers of the cheats or whatever have figured out how to beat this version of Ricochet that's running on this game, or whatever pretend anti-cheat Call of Duty is running in Modern Warfare 2019, and that means that the cheaters can literally just play. They won't get banned. Reporting them does absolutely nothing. However, you can block cheaters. So after you finish the game, because you can't actually block them in-game, as far as I know anyway, but when you finish the game, go into your recent players, find that cheater and block them. What this does is whenever that person joins your lobby again, you'll get a notification on screen telling you that they have joined your lobby, and then you can just leave and let them keep thinking anybody cares about their 10 KD whilst they sit in an empty lobby. The cheating problem in this game has got so bad, I recognize a lot of cheaters. I've even started to recognize, like, some of them use Chinese characters in their names. I don't know why, but I've even started to recognize some of these people with Chinese characters, and I don't speak Chinese. That's how frequently I do come across the same cheaters. Again, with all these new players, it is less likely that you'll come across them, which is obviously good. But the problem is, as these new and returning players come across cheaters, they will gradually get ground down and stop playing, which is completely fair enough. Why would you choose to play a game where cheaters can just do whatever they want when you can go play something that actually has a working anti-cheat, or something where there's not cheaters, I don't know, like a single player game, or just something that's good and fun? It's 2026. Cheaters should not be so common in a game. I don't care if the game is 7 years old. If they're going to try and revive it, they need to update the anti-cheat. Obviously, it's probably a major rework that is not possible, but if they could get it on the secure boot like they've got Black Ops 7, that'd be a great step. And what I'm trying to say is, all these things they could be doing to this game, all these things that they could have done before the spring sale, haven't been done. If they actually wanted the game to last longer than a week, just as a marketing strategy for the new COD game, then they would have at least tweeted out or made some effort to fix some of these things. And we've not even got to the fourth major point, so we'll move on to that right now. And this is the least major of the major points, but it's the weapon balance in this game. For the past many years, the Val, the CX-9, even the MP5 are pretty insane guns. They are definitely a step above every other weapon in the game. And while this is okay, like they are very strong, they're not problematically strong, but surely there'd be no harm in just nerfing them a little bit and letting some other guns shine. So there could also be a new meta for this revival of Modern Warfare 2019. For those people who played this game a lot back in the day, towards the end of the life cycle, I'm sure you were getting pretty bored of just seeing Vals and CX-9 and MP5 everywhere. So cutting them out of the equation and just, having this new fresh meta for the sake of it, it doesn't even have to be a well thought out balance patch. Just nerf them a little bit and see what happens. I'm no game developer, but I'm pretty sure doing that takes less than an hour and would bring so much value to this $6 that the game costs right now. And to be honest, I don't see why they don't do this more often on older CODs. Literally just look at the data once or twice a year and nerf any guns with a crazy high use rate. It wouldn't take much effort at all, but it might help keep those games feeling at least a little fresh rather than the same guns being used literally forever until the game dies. Anyway, all these people picking up the game to try it out or to relive some 2019 memories, or playing it for the first time on PC, because obviously back when it was the game, a lot of people played it on PS4 where you had an 80 FOV by default and you couldn't change that on consoles. All these people will inevitably get frustrated with the bugs and cheaters and everything else I've mentioned. So I imagine their patience will wear thin pretty quick every single time they experience this friction to just playing the game. If Activision actually wanted this game to succeed long term and truly be revived, they would have fixed these things, or at least made visible steps towards trying to fix them to coincide with the sale. Imagine that. Imagine they said, oh yeah, this game's 90% off, by the way, and we fixed most of the problems, or at least we're working on fixing them. This game would be twice as many players as it is right now, and it's already pretty insane. And on top of that, if they did want us to consider playing these older CODs longer term, then they'd put double or even triple XP on permanently so people can progress faster and experience the game without being put off by a massive grind to just level up your weapons and try things out. Now they've seen how well received the game has been again, maybe they will actually do this in the next couple of weeks or 1 month max, and if that happens, we could be eating well for the rest of the year if they actually, try and fix something about this game. But realistically, they've not communicated any intentions to update this game, and if an unannounced patch doesn't happen within the next week or two, then I think it's unlikely anything will change with this game ever. While the game in its current state is definitely good enough to last a lot of people a decent amount of playtime, and is absolutely worth the $6 it currently costs, I don't think it's good enough for retaining this influx of players for more than another 2 or 3 weeks. I would love to be completely wrong about all this though and see the game thrive once again. The interest is there, the content creators seem excited to be playing it again, so I am genuinely praying for the best here. You know, Activision, please do surprise us. Even if we just get another couple of months out of this game before the MW4 hype starts to build. Personally, I am still going to be playing this game for the foreseeable future because it's just great, but I just don't think the average person who plays a lot of other games that aren't Call of Duty will have the patience to deal with the cheaters, will have the patience to deal with the bugs, when they can just go play other games and not worry about that kind of thing. And that's where I'm going to leave the video. I'd be super interested to hear all your opinions about this, so please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about the MW2019 revival. Are you happy to see it back in the content spotlight? And do you think it's going to stand the test of time or just be another trend that everyone will abandon as soon as the next thing comes along? Thank you for watching. A like on the video is always appreciated, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Damascus grind, where I'll be getting the platinum pistols.